The great hall floated in silence, high above the swirling storms of the gas giant Kalor 9. Everyone from 37 different species sat in wide curved rows that rose like steps around a bright central platform. The air smelled clean and slightly metallic from the station filters. Soft blue light came from panels in the walls and ceiling, making long shadows behind each creature. Tall, insect-like clithars sat together. Their shiny black shells clicked softly when they moved. Thin wings folded tight against their backs, waited, ready to buzz if needed. Next to them, graceful bird-like Zorath perched on special high seats. Their feathers shimmered in greens and silvers. Each one kept turning its sharp head to watch the others with bright, curious eyes. Huge Vorun crystals stood like living statues. Their bodies glowed with inner light, shifting slowly from deep red to cool violet as they thought. Deep water beings from Thalor swam in clear tanks, bubbles rising gently around their tentacles. Faces, small furry Trellin, huddled in groups, chattering in high, quick voices, while stone-skinned Groon remained perfectly still, like rocks that had learned to breathe. At the very front, a single human sat alone. His name was Marcus Hale. He came from the new Shanghai colony on a dry, rocky world far from here. He wore a simple gray jumpsuit with no decorations. His hair was short and dark, and his face looked calm but a little tired. He had traveled many weeks to reach this place, because humans had finally earned the right to ask for full entry into the Galactic Archives. High above everyone, a shape appeared in the air. It was Instructor Vex 9. No one had ever seen a real Vexari body. They always came as holograms. This one looked like shifting pieces of glass and light that formed and broke and formed again in endless patterns. The voice came straight into every mind at once, clear and without emotion. Welcome, seekers. You stand at the gate of knowledge. The archives hold answers to questions your people have asked since they first looked at the stars. To enter, you must show you deserve it. One test remains. Solve the puzzle and prove your mind can walk with the old ones. A small black cube appeared on a thin stand in front of each seat. The cube had no lines, no buttons, no colors. It looked smooth and perfect, like it had grown instead of been made. Each one measured about the length of a hand across. Every species got tools next to their cube. Probes that could touch without breaking. Skin sensors for those who felt with feelers. Sound makers, light projectors, holoscreens. Everything matched what that species used best. The Clythar reached out first, with thin jointed legs. They tapped the cube gently, listening to the tiny echoes inside. A Zorath spread one wing and sent soft light patterns across the surface, hoping to find hidden marks. A Vorun sent low vibrations through the air, making the cube hum in reply. The Thalor in their tanks waved tentacles, sending water. Pulses toward the stand. The Trellin whispered fast plans to each other, while the Groon simply stared, waiting for the stone inside the cube to speak. Marcus Hale did not move right away. He stayed in his seat and looked at the black cube from far away. His eyes narrowed just a little. He rubbed one hand across his chin, then let it drop back to his lap. Around him, other humans from different colonies watched too. Some leaned forward. Some sat back with arms crossed. One woman from the Mars Belt muttered something quiet, but no one heard her words. Instructor Vex 9 spoke again. This is the Insight Cube. 5 locks guard the truth inside. The first lock guards space. The second guards time. The third guards chance. The fourth guards thought. The fifth guards being. Only when all 5 open together will the key appear. You may use any method, any tool, any idea. Time holds no meaning here. Only understanding matters. Begin. The hall filled with soft sounds now. Tools hummed. Probes clicked. Lights flashed. Water swirled. Feathers rustled. Shells tapped. Crystals sang. The test had started. A young Zorath tilted its head and projected a perfect copy of the cube in the air above its stand. The copy spun slowly, showing every side at once. The real cube stayed dark and closed. Nearby, a Clythar drone extended a needle-thin tool and pushed it against one face. Nothing happened. The drone tried another face, then another. The cube refused to answer. A Thalor wrapped 2 tentacles around its cube and squeezed gently, testing for give. The cube stayed hard as steel. Minutes passed. The hall grew warmer from all the moving parts and thinking minds. No cube opened, not one. Small flashes of frustration appeared. Some creatures changed color. Others made low, unhappy noises. The Trellin argued louder now, pointing at each other's stands. The Groon remained still, but tiny cracks appeared in their outer stone skin from pressing too hard inside their own thoughts. Marcus Hale watched all this. Did not look worried. He did not look excited. He just watched. Then he stood up, slowly. He stretched his arms over his head for a moment, like someone waking from a long nap. He took one step forward, then another. He walked past the rows of busy aliens without hurry. His boots made soft thumps on the smooth floor. Some heads turned. A few Clythar stopped clicking. A Zorath paused mid-projection and stared. The human moved like he had all the time in the galaxy. He passed a group of Trellin who went quiet when he went by. One small furry creature even pointed with a tiny paw, but Marcus did not look back. He reached the open space at the center. He stopped a few steps from his own stand. The black cube waited there, still perfect, still silent. He put his hands in his pockets and tilted his head to one side. He studied the cube from that distance for a long moment. His lips moved like he spoke a single word to himself, but no sound came out. Around the hall, more eyes turned toward him now. The test had many strong minds, many old species, many clever tools, yet the human had not touched a single probe. Not one light, not one sound. He just stood and looked. Instructor Vex 9 drifted closer. The shifting shape of light slowed its dance, as if watching too. The voice entered every mind once more. All may proceed as they choose. Minds differ. Truth remains the same. Marcus Hale took one more step. He lifted his right hand out of his pocket. He reached forward with one finger only. He pressed that finger against the middle of one blank face of the cube. A single clear click rang through the hall. The click from Marcus Hale's finger rang sharp and clear through the great hall, like a small bell struck once. Every creature stopped moving at the same moment. Tools froze in mid-air. Probes hung motionless. Lights on holoscreens blinked once, then went dark. Water in the Thalor tanks settled flat, without a ripple. Even the soft clicks of Clythar shells went quiet. The black cube on Marcus' stand began to change. Panels that no one could see before slid out from nowhere. Edges that looked solid bent and twisted in ways that hurt the eyes to watch. Faces rotated inward, then outward again. Pieces folded like paper, but made of metal and light. The whole thing opened smooth and slow until it lay flat on the stand like a strange metal flower. In the center, a small violet crystal glowed soft and steady. That was the key token, the proof of passage. Marcus' hand stayed where it was for one more second. Then he pulled it back and put both hands in his pockets again. He had not sat down yet. Stood right beside the stand, looking at the open cube with calm eyes. Instructor Vex 9's shape flickered fast. The shifting pieces of light twisted quicker than before. A low hum came from the hologram, something no one had heard from a Vexari before. The voice spoke into every mind, louder this time. Anomaly detected. Solution registered in 0.8 standard seconds. Human delegate Marcus Hale has completed the inside cube prior to assuming seated position. A wave of sound rolled through the hall. Not words, just surprise made real. Clythar mandibles opened wide, then snapped shut. Zorath feathers stood straight up, making each bird look twice as tall. Varun crystals flashed bright white, then dimmed to almost nothing. Thalor tentacles curled tight around their own bodies. Trellin mouths hung open, showing tiny sharp teeth. Groon stone skin cracked louder now, small lines spreading across their arms and chests like breaking rock. One young Clithar drone stepped forward on shaky legs. Its voice came through translators sharp and fast. Impossible. The cube requires sequential paradigm shift. 5 layers must fall in order. Spatial first, then temporal, then probabilistic, then mimetic, then existential. No mind skips layers. No mind bypasses the structure. The archives demand full understanding. Marcus turned his head just enough to look at the drone. He spoke quiet, but clear enough for the closest translators to catch every word. I did not skip layers. I ignored the ones that did not matter. The first 3 layers are real. The last 2 are tricks. You built a beautiful trap for minds that love their own ideas too much. I treated it like a locked door, not a philosophy book. The drone clicked angry fast. You touched one face only. One finger. One press. How can hardware hide inside 5 nested concepts? The Vexari do not build simple locks. Marcus gave a small smile. Not simple, just clever enough to fool most people. The offset tumbler sits under a false inertial frame. You feel it in the weight if you hold the cube right. But no one holds it. They poke and prod and think deep thoughts instead. I felt the weight when I walked up. I knew where the real lock waited. A Zorath elder spread both wings wide. The feathers caught the blue light and threw sparks across the hall. You claim the existential layer holds no truth. That layer questions the nature of self. If ignored, how can any being claim insight? The archives open only to those who face their own being. Marcus shrugged. I faced my being this morning, when I ate breakfast. The puzzle does not need me to question if I exist. It needs me to open the box. I exist enough to do that. The rest is extra work for people who like extra work. Low rumbles started among the Vorun. Crystals pulsed in slow, angry patterns. One large Vorun stepped forward. Its voice boomed deep and slow, like stones grinding together. You mock the test. You mock the old knowledge. Humans come late to the SARS. You bring no ancient wisdom, no long memory. You solve with tricks and haste. Marcus looked up at the tall crystal. He did not step back. He did not raise his voice. When haste works, it stops being a trick. It becomes the smart way. Old knowledge is good. New problems need new answers. This cube is old. Your way is old. My way worked faster. That is all. The hall buzzed now, not with tools or probes, but with voices. Translators worked hard to keep up. Questions flew fast, some angry, some confused, some almost afraid. How did the human know? Where did he learn such speed? Why did the cube answer him and not us? Marcus finally moved. He reached down and picked up the open cube with both hands. He held it careful like it might break, though it had just survived twisting into impossible shapes. He turned and walked back toward his seat. Stepped slow and easy. He passed rows of staring aliens. Some reached out as if to touch the cube. He did not stop. He kept walking. When he reached his row, he sat down at last, creaked, a little under him. He placed the glowing cube on his lap like a child places a favorite toy. He crossed one leg over the other and leaned back. He looked relaxed, like nothing big had happened. A small Trellin female climbed onto the seat next to him. Her fur stood up in spikes. She stared at the cube with wide black eyes. You really opened it before you sat? You did not even look at the tools. Why? Marcus glanced at her. He spoke soft, so only she and the closest ones could hear. My coffee got cold back at my seat. I wanted to drink it before it turned bad. Simple reason, simple solution. The Trellin blinked fast. Coffee. What is coffee? Warm drink makes the brain work better. Humans like it a lot. I left mine on the armrest. When I stood up, I knew I had to finish this fast. or drink cold coffee. Cold coffee tastes sad. A few nearby creatures made strange noises. Some sounded like laughs, some sounded like coughs, some sounded like nothing anyone had heard before. Instructor Vex 9 floated closer to Marcus. The hologram pieces moved slow now, almost careful. Human delegate, your method deviates from established protocol, yet the key token glows true. The archives recognize completion. Further data required. Explain the bypass in detail. Marcus lifted the cube a little higher, so the violet light caught every face around him. Sure, the cube pretends to float in 5 dimensions, but it sits on a stand in 3. The false inertial frame tricks most sensors into thinking motion happens where it does not. The tumbler hides behind that trick. One firm press on the right spot pushes the offset pin past the catch. The rest unfolds on its own. 15 seconds if you know where to push. 4 if you get lucky. I got lucky. The shifting hologram paused longer than before. When it spoke again, the voice carried something new. Not anger, not surprise, something close to respect. Human paradigm logged as persistent lateral deviation. Recommendation submitted to Archive Council for review of testing parameters. All delegates' attention. The inside cube has been solved once. Principle now exposed. Remaining cubes will unlock for study. Proceed with caution. Knowledge waits. One by one the other black cubes clicked, softly at first, then louder. Panels slid, faces rotated, crystals glowed violet in every stand. The hall filled with light and quiet gasps. The test had ended, not because everyone solved it, but because one human refused to play by the old rules. Marcus Hale sipped from his water bulb. He looked around at the stunned faces. He smiled just a little. The galaxy just met its newest problem solvers, and they hated waiting for permission to open doors. The violet glow from 37 open cubes filled the great hall with soft purple light. Shadows on the walls danced slow and strange. Every creature stared at their own cube, now flat and empty, except for the shining key token inside. No one moved much. The air felt thick, with questions no one knew how to ask yet. Marcus Hale sat easy in his seat. The open cube rested on his knees, like a book he had already finished reading. He took slow sips from his water bulb, watching the others with calm eyes. Around him, aliens shifted and whispered. Some stood up to look closer at their cubes. Some sat back down hard, as if legs forgot how to hold weight. A tall Clythar commander stepped into the open space between rows. Its shell gleamed under the purple light. Mandibles opened wide, showing rows of sharp teeth. The translator made its voice loud and sharp. This cannot stand. The human solved nothing. He cheated. The cube demands full sequence. He touched one spot and ignored the rest. Will not accept such disrespect. Marcus looked up at the tall insect. He did not stand. He did not raise his voice. He spoke normal, like talking to a friend over lunch. Cheating means breaking rules. I followed the only rule that mattered. Open the box, get the key. I got the key. The cube is open. Your rulebook says nothing about how long it should take, or how many steps a person must take. The Clythar commander clicked loud and fast. You mock our process. You mock the Vexari design. Thousands of cycles went into each layer. Each layer teaches wisdom. You skipped wisdom for speed. Speed without depth is empty. Marcus tilted his head a little. Wisdom is good. I like wisdom, but I also like doors that open when I need them to. The cube is a door, not a temple. I knocked once, it opened. That tells me something useful about how the Vexari think. They hide simple things inside hard packages. Maybe they want to see who looks past the hard part. A Zorath elder glided forward on silent wings. Feathers stayed flat, now showing calm control. She stopped near Marcus' seat and looked down at him with one bright gold eye. You speak of simplicity, human. Yet the mimetic layer tests shared understanding across minds. The existential layer forces reflection on purpose. Without those, how can any species join the greater conversation? Marcus met her gaze straight. He spoke clear and slow. I reflected plenty. I reflected that my crew waits back on the ship. I reflected that cold coffee tastes bad. I reflected that sitting here arguing philosophy while the key sits in my lap seems like a waste of good thinking time. The conversation can start now. We have the key. We can talk as equals. The rest is just warm-up. The elder Zorath tilted her head, feathers ruffling just a little. You show no fear of being wrong. You show no doubt in your path. That troubles me. Most new species tremble at this gate. They question themselves. You do not. Marcus gave a small laugh. Fear helps sometimes. Doubt helps. Sometimes. But when a lock clicks open, fear and doubt do not turn the key again. I know what worked. I know why it worked. I know it will work next time. That is enough for today. Doubt can wait until tomorrow. A deep rumble came from the Vorun cluster, one large crystal being moved forward, slow and careful. Its body glowed steady orange now, like hot coals under stone. The voice rolled out low and heavy. You treat existence as a game, human. Existence is weight. Existence is time. Existence is pain. Your kind rushes through it. You leave pieces behind. Marcus looked at the huge crystal for a long moment. Then he lifted the cube from his lap. He held it up so the violet light caught the many flat surfaces of the Vorun body. Pieces of purple bounced across the orange glow. I leave nothing behind. I take what I need. The cube gave me a key, not a lecture. I listened to the key. It said, come in. The rest of the galaxy can follow when ready. The Vorun paused. Light inside shifted slower now. Thoughtful. You claim no debt to the layers. Yet without them, how will you face what waits deeper in the archives? The old knowledge breaks weak minds. Marcus lowered the cube back to his lap. He spoke softer now. Not weak, just different. Humans break sometimes. We glue ourselves back together. We keep walking. We learn fast because we have to. Our worlds were hard. Our stars were far. We did not have time to sit and think deep for cycles. We had to solve or die. That habit sticks. Quiet spread through the hall again. Creatures looked at each other. Some nodded slow, some shook heads fast. Some just stared at Marcus like he was a puzzle they could not open. Instructor Vex 9 drifted to the center once more. The hologram pieces moved smooth now, no longer jumping. The voice entered every mind calm and even. Human Delegate Marcus Hale. Your action forces re-evaluation. The Insight Cube served as filter for unready minds. Your bypass reveals a flaw or a strength. The Council will judge data. Streams to Central Archive now. All delegates may retain their key tokens for study. The gate stands open. Proceed to Orientation Level 2 when prepared. A soft cheer started small among the Trellin. They jumped up and down, chattering fast in their high voices. The Thalor in their tanks swirled happy patterns with glowing ink. Other species joined slower, some with careful nods, some with reluctant clacks of mandibles. Marcus stayed seated. He looked around at the changing faces. He saw pride in some eyes, confusion in others, anger in a few. He saw something else too. Curiosity. Real curiosity. The kind that starts new things. A young Groon Stoneskin cracked no more. It stepped close to Marcus Rowe. The rough voice came quiet through translators. Why did you stand so long before touching it? Why not rush in like the rest? Marcus thought for a second. Then he answered simple. I needed to see it first. Really see it. Not just look, not just scan, not just poke. I needed to feel where the lie hid. Once I felt it, the rest was easy. Standing gave me time to listen to the cube. It whispered its secret if you paid attention. The Groon nodded slow. Stone flakes fell gentle to the floor. You listen well, human. Stone listens too. But stone takes longer. Marcus smiled wide. That is okay. The galaxy is big enough for fast listeners and slow ones. We all get there in the end. More voices rose now. Questions flew. Questions mixed with offers. Some wanted to see the cube up close. Some wanted Marcus to explain again. Some just wanted to stand near the human who broke the unbreakable test. Marcus answered what he could. He showed the offset spot. He pointed to the false frame. He let a few touch the open panels. He kept his voice steady and kind. He did not brag. He did not hide. He just shared. Outside the hall, station lights flickered as data packets raced toward distant worlds. Word spread fast. A human had opened the Insight Cube in seconds. A human had sat last, but finished first. A human had looked at the oldest test and found it wanting. The great hall slowly emptied. Creatures filed out in groups, some quiet, some loud, all carrying glowing key tokens, all carrying new thoughts about the newest species in the stars. Marcus stayed seated a little longer. He finished his water bulb. He looked at the empty pedestal where his cube first stood. He stood up slow. He stretched. He walked toward the exit door. Behind him, the last few aliens watched him go. One small Trellin ran up and tugged his jumpsuit sleeve. Thank you, human. You made the test fun again. Marcus looked down and ruffled the furry head gentle. Anytime, little one. Anytime. He stepped through the door. The hall lights dimmed behind him. The gas giant storms rolled on outside the windows. The archives waded deeper in. The human walked toward them, calm and ready. The puzzle box had opened. Now the real test began. The wide corridor outside the great hall stretched long and quiet. Bright white lights ran along the ceiling in straight lines. The floor felt smooth under boots and claws and tentacles. Marcus Hale walked slow at the front of a loose group of aliens. Some followed close. Some hung back. Others walked beside him, matching his easy steps. The key tokens glowed in many hands, lighting faces in soft violet. A young Phalor pushed its tank forward on quiet wheels. Water sloshed gentle inside. The tentacle face pressed close to the glass. The voice came bubbly through speakers. Human Marcus, why did the cube answer you so fast? We felt nothing. No give. No secret. Our probes found only walls. Marcus glanced at the tank. He kept walking. I think the cube waits for someone who does not treat it like a god. It waits for someone who treats it like a stubborn tool. Sometimes tools fight back if you beg them too much. I just told it to open. It listened. The Phalor bubbles rose faster. Alive. Maybe it is a little alive. Vexari build things that think in their own way. Not like us, but close enough to notice attitude. I showed no fear, no worship, just need. The cube gave what I needed. Behind them, a group of Trellins scampered to catch up. Their small feet pattered quick. One bold male jumped onto a low bench to see better. You said your sister had a toy like this. Tell us more. Humans make puzzle boxes too. Marcus laughed soft. Yes, she had one, shaped like a wooden egg, full of tiny sliding pieces. She was 6 cycles old. She cried when it would not open. I sat with her one afternoon. I showed her the weak spot, where the wood bent wrong. One push and it popped. She hugged me so hard, I almost fell over. She called me cheater because I did not follow the rules on the box. She was right. I cheated, but she got her candy inside faster. The Trellin chittered happy. Candy. What is candy? Sweet thing. Makes the mouth happy. Makes the brain happy. Like a small reward. Rewards. We work hard for them. A Groon lumbered closer. Stone feet thudded heavy. Rewards. We carve them in rock. We wait lifetimes for one true insight. You humans chase small joys every day. Does that not make your insights thin? Marcus looked up at the tall stone face. Not thin, just different. We know life ends fast. Our world's taught us that, so we grab joy where we can. A solved puzzle, a sweet bite, a warm drink with friends. Those things build strength too. Not just deep thoughts. Deep thoughts come later, when the belly is full and the heart is calm. The corridor opened into a wide viewing deck. Huge windows showed the gas giant below. Endless storms swirled in reds and yellows. Lightning flashed silent across cloud tops. The sight made most aliens pause. Marcus stopped too. He put hands in pockets and looked out quiet. A Zorath female landed light beside him, her wings folded neat. She spoke soft. You stare at chaos as if it means nothing. Most fear the storm. You do not. Nodded. Storms were normal back home. Dust storms, sandstorms, ion storms. We built domes, we built ships. We learned to live inside the mess. Chaos is just another puzzle. Sometimes you wait it out, sometimes you fly through, sometimes you find the eye and rest there. Either way, you keep moving. The Zorath turned one eye to him. You speak of movement. Humans always move. Even now you stand still, but your mind runs ahead. What do you seek in the archives? Everything, Marcus said, simple. We want maps. We want science. We want stories. We want to know why the galaxy hides so much. We want to know what comes next. Mostly we want to not be alone anymore. Quiet fell again. The group grew larger now. More aliens joined. Some listened. Some asked quiet questions. Some just stood near the human who changed everything in one press. Instructor Vex 9 appeared without warning. The hologram formed in the center of the deck. Pieces of light spun slow and steady. The voice filled every mind. Delegate Marcus, hail. Your bypass has triggered secondary protocols. The Council reviews your data now. Questions arrive from distant nodes. One question repeats most often. Why did you wait before touching the cube? Marcus turned from the window. He faced the hologram. I waited to think. I watched the others. I saw how they attacked the problem. They pushed, they scanned, they argued. I saw patterns. I saw fear. I saw pride. I saw old habits. I needed to break those habits in my own head first. Standing let me do that. When I felt ready, I moved. 1 second of real thought beats hours of blind work. The hologram pieces shifted brighter. A second question follows. If the last 2 layers hold no value, why do we teach them? Marcus rubbed his chin. You teach them because they matter to you. They shaped your minds. They shaped your empire. They matter to most species, but not all. Minds grow different ways. Some need deep rivers. Some need fast streams. Humans swim in fast streams. We jump from rock to rock. We miss some fish, but we reach the sea quicker. Your layers are good rivers. We prefer the rapids. A low murmur rose from the watchers. Some agreed, some disagreed. Some looked thoughtful. A Varun crystal stepped forward. Light inside burns steady red. You dismiss our pain, our long memory, our sacrifice. You call it extra work. We call it necessary cost. Marcus met the red glow calm. I do not dismiss it. I respect it. You paid a high price for your wisdom. That wisdom shines bright. But the galaxy changes fast. New threats come. New doors close. Old keys rust. We need many ways to open locks, not just one good way. Your way works for you. Mine works for me. Together we cover more ground. The Varun lights softened a shade. You speak of union, not conquest. Yes, Marcus said. Union. We came to join, not to rule, not to laugh, not to win. We came to add our piece to the big picture. Our piece looks small and quick, but it fits. Instructor Vex 9 spun once full circle. Data integrated. Opinion streams converge. Human paradigm enters active consideration. The archives open wider now. Level 2 orientation begins in 3 cycles. Prepare yourselves. Knowledge flows faster when minds flow together. The hologram faded slow. The deck lights brightened a little. Aliens turned to each other. Talk started soft. Groups formed. Some walked away thinking hard. Some stayed near Marcus, asking more. A small Trellin tugged his sleeve again. "Will you teach us your fast way?" Marcus knelt to look the little one in the eye. "Sure, kid. We start with simple locks, then harder ones, then the ones that bite back. You will get good fast. You have tiny hands, good for tiny pieces." The Trellin bounced happy. Others laughed quiet. The mood lifted. The storm outside rolled on, beautiful and wild. Marcus stood again. He looked at the gathered faces. Clythar, Zorath, Vorun, Thalor, Grun, Trellin, and more. They watched him not as a cheat, not as a joke, but as something new, something useful. He smiled small. The real puzzle was never the cube. It was the minds around it. Now those minds started to turn different ways, and that was the biggest unlock of all. 3 cycles passed quick after the viewing deck talk. The station hummed busier now. Delegates moved through bright halls toward the next gate. Orientation Level 2 waited behind a tall silver door shaped like a spinning galaxy. Lights around the edge glowed gold and steady. Marcus Hale walked at the back of the crowd. He carried nothing but the small key token in his pocket. The violet glow showed through the thin fabric of his jumpsuit. Around him, aliens talked, more open now. Clythar clicked plans in low tones. Zorath shared feather signals. Thalor tanks rolled smooth with bubbling chatter. Trellin scampered between legs, asking questions. Grun stepped heavy, but careful. Vorun crystals pulsed soft colors that looked almost friendly. The anger from before faded. Some stayed quiet, but most wanted to learn what came next. The silver door slid open without sound. A wide chamber appeared inside. Walls curved up high like the inside of a giant egg. Soft white light came from everywhere. Shadows fell. The floor looked like black glass that reflected every face and form. In the center stood a single low platform. No pedestal, no cube, just empty space waiting. Instructor Vex 9 formed above the platform. The hologram looked larger now. Pieces moved in slow, calm patterns. The voice entered every mind, gentle. "Welcome to Level 2. Here the archives show first truths, not hidden in locks, not guarded by tests. Open knowledge flows to open minds. Ask and receive. But ask with care. Truth changes those who hear it." A lure platform rose from the floor in front of each delegate. A small hollow screen appeared above each one. Words glowed in the air, ready to answer. Marcus sat on the floor cross-legged, like he sat in his own ship quarters. He looked at the screen and spoke quiet. "Show me maps of human space, please." The screen flashed. Maps appeared. Stars, systems, colonies, trade routes. Old Earth, New Shanghai, Mars Belt, Luna rings, everything humans claimed or touched. In blue and gold. The map zoomed out, showing how small that blue patch looked against the vast black of the galaxy. Marcus stared long. He traced one finger along the edge of known space. His face stayed calm, but his eyes grew thoughtful. Around him, others asked different things. A Clythar asked for chemical formulas of rare hive scents. A Zorath asked for songs of lost flocks. A Thalor asked for deep current patterns of forgotten oceans. A Vorun asked for equations of crystal growth over endless time. Each screen answered fast. Clear pictures flowed, data streamed, words formed perfect and true. Marcus asked again, "Show me threats near human borders. Unknown signals, unknown ships, unknown ruins." The screen changed fast. Red markers appeared along the outer rim, flickering signals from dark sectors. Ghost ships that vanished after one scan. Ancient structures half buried in asteroid belts. Warnings in old languages no one spoke anymore. Marcus leaned closer. He read fast. silent as he took in every line. A young Trellin climbed onto the low platform next to him. The little one looked at Marcus's screen with big eyes. "What do you see, human?" "Trouble," Marcus said soft. "Trouble that waits quiet. Trouble that does not knock. Trouble that watches us grow and decides when to strike." The Trellin first stood up. "You fear it?" "No," Marcus answered. "I see it. That is different. Fear stops you. Seeing lets you plan. We humans plan best when we know the size of the problem." Instructor Vex 9 drifted closer. "Human delegate, your questions turn toward shadows while others seek light. Why?" Marcus looked up at the shifting light. "Because light shows beauty. Shadows show truth. The archives hold both. I want both. My people learned long ago, beauty feeds the heart. Truth keeps the heart beating." The hologram paused longer than usual. Streams of data flowed faster around the chamber. Other delegates noticed. They turned to watch the human again. Questions rose quiet. At first, then louder. A Zorath elder spoke from across the room. "You seek danger before safety. Why not ask for weapons, or shields, or allies first?" Marcus stood slow. He faced the elder across the open space. "Weapons come later. Safety comes later. First we need to know what hunts us. If we build walls without knowing the enemy, walls fall fast. Knowledge is the first wall, the strongest wall." A Vorun crystal pulsed bright. "You speak like a warrior, yet you solve the cube with tricks, not force." "Tricks are force," Marcus said. "Different kind. Force that thinks before it hits. We hit hard when we must, but we think harder. That keeps more of us alive." The chamber grew quiet again. Every eye stalk, every lens turned to the human. The archives waited too. The screens dimmed a little as if listening. Instructor Vex 9 spoke once more. "Human paradigm shifts archive priorities. New streams open. Level 3 access granted early to Delegate Marcus Hale, and to any who choose to follow his questions." The Council notes persistence. Predators adapt fastest when threats appear. The test evolves. A soft click sounded. Every hollow screen changed. New layers appeared. Deeper maps. Older warnings. Forgotten wars between stars. Species that vanished. Species that hid. Species that waited. Marcus asked one more question. "Show me the oldest warning. The one no one asks about." The screen went black for a second. Then a single line appeared in pale gray. Ancient text translated below it. "When the quiet ones wake, the noisy ones fall." No picture came, no map, no data, just those words hanging in the air. Marcus read them twice. He nodded once, like he expected them. He turned to the others in the chamber. They stared back, some afraid, some curious, some ready. He spoke loud enough for all to hear. "The galaxy is big, we are small, but small things can wake big things, or stop them. We came here to learn, we stay here to help. If the quiet ones wake, we meet them, together. Not alone, not afraid. Together." A Clythar commander stepped forward. Mandibles clicked once, slow. "We follow your questions, human. Show us the shadows." A Zoroth spread wings wide. "We listen too." A Thalor tank rolled closer. "Currents align with you." One by one, voices joined. Groon rumbled agreement. Trellin cheered, small and bright. Varun glowed steady white. The chamber filled with sound. Not anger, not fear. Purpose. Marcus looked at them all. He smiled real and wide. "Good. Then we start now. Maps first. Plans next. Friends always. The archives wait no longer. Neither do we." Instructor Vex 9 spun full circle once. Light flared bright, then soft. The silver door behind them opened wider, leading deeper, leading forward, leading to whatever came next. Marcus walked toward it first. Steps sure, steps calm. The others followed, close and steady. The newest species led not with power, not with age, with simple, stubborn habit, of opening every box, every door, every problem, until nothing stayed locked. Outside, the gas giant storm still rolled, beautiful, wild, endless. Inside the station, a new story started, one where humans did not wait for permission. They asked, they learned, they moved, and the galaxy noticed. The quiet ones might wake one day, but when they did, they would find more than noise. They would find minds that solved puzzles fast, minds that turned shadows into light, minds that sat last but finished first, minds that never stopped until every box opened wide.